Hello everyone, my name is Fernanda Pacheco. First of all, I would like to say that I'm grateful to be part of this event. I work at an university in the southeast part of Brazil, which is named Unicinos, and it's part of a global network of universities, which is Jesuit University. I'm here to present the work that is self-healing and self-repairing concrete. We know that concrete has a huge use worldwide, and the cracking is a pathological damage that may lead to severe deterioration. So there's a need to increase the durability so we can save money, we don't need to do reworks, and also that we can turn structures to be sustainable. Studies of mechanisms that can act on concrete, creating products that can heal the cracks, lead us to the knowledge of self-healing and self-repairing concrete. They are divided because self-healing is considered for healing as any process carried out by the material itself that involves the recovery and improvement in the performance of material that has been damaged by any process previously. And self-repairing, it's limited to the closure of the crack, and it doesn't involve properties as physical or mechanical. We have self-healing mechanism. There is autogenic or autonomous. From autogenic, we have materials that it's already used by concrete as cement or pozzolanic materials. And for autonomous, we put some material in concrete only to have this healing capability as chemical compounds of bio solutions, for example. So this classification is based on the materials needed for the process. We know that mechanisms they have requirements to occur. There's a need to evaluate if they can work on real structure or real exposure conditions. We know that there's an influence of curing condition, and it's also need the analysis of the reliability and also if the mechanism can work in multiple cracking. And different mechanisms, they have different maximum thickness, which they can work in. Self-healing mechanism, we have autogenic by cement consumption. We have two options. There is hydration of non-hydrated cement particles and dissolution and carbonation of calcium hydroxide. This is a mechanism that is influenced by water, the crack age, the crack width, and cement consumption. We have also the autogenic by the use of pozzolans. They react with calcium hydroxide and water, and they promote the CSH. This is related with cracking on early ages when we still have the pozzolanic reactions to occur. We can also have the autonomous bibacterial solution. It works similarly as the human body healing, as blood clotting and bone recovery. And related to the bacterial solution, it's the process that occur usually is the carbonation of CH and the reaction with bacterial solution. We have to choose the bacteria, and in Brazil we have the Bacillus subtilis AP91. There is proved that can produce carbonate, so they can be used for concrete biocementation. We also have the option to use chemical solution that is usually commercialized ready for use as sodium silicate. It also reacts with cement compounds and can also promote the CSH. To use bacterial solutions and chemical solutions, we have the option to use capsules to put these materials as expanded clay or expanded perlite. This study, they compare those two aggregates, and they discovered that perlite works well for the healing. For example, we also have the option to use or not the vacuum chamber to put the materials inside those capsules. Some authors pointed conditions related to environmental, where this structure is inside and the cure. So in at all, they pointed out that marine environment works well for the healing. Piling, Victor, and Jonkers, they cure samples on marine water and potable water, and they discovered that marine water works better. Related to carbon dioxide, we have the carbonation reduces the pH, which is better for the bacterial survivor. Udine and other authors, they aged ACC for 1 year, and they also discovered that this carbon dioxide works better for the cure condition. High Flores, they say that there is a need of water, And Luo, Kian, and Lee, they say that wet condition is better than wet and dry, which is better than only humid condition. We have procedures for concrete cracking as put materials on the fresh state, put the samples on the stove to the cracking formation by heat, to cut the samples or do the deflection test. And also to check if the healing and the repairing is working, we have chemical, physical, and images analysis. What we learned in my research group here in Brazil, first of all, we were also comparing expanded clay and expanded perlite from Brazil, and we checked by the same analysis that expanded perlite has much more voids, so it may be good to put the chemical and bio solution. And also that there's a higher impact when we use expanded clay than expanded perlite, so expanded perlite may be better to not damage the concrete properties. And also by analysis, by view analysis on microscopy, we check it out that expanded perlite, it's better to conduce the continuous healing inside the crack. We have to choose the bacteria, and also we have to obtain the bacteria development curve, so we can choose the solution that we are using in every sample. We know that there's an influence of bacterial solution on the capability of to produce calcium carbonate, for example. So we check the solutions with concentration of 6, 7, and 8 UFSC for ml. And we check that with solution of 6 that we have progressive behavior, and it was able to heal the cracks of 0.46 millimeters. We have solution of 7. The product was only formed on the crack perimeter and with values of 0.22. And with solution of 8, we check that the product was inside the crack and on the surface with the maximum value of 0.19. There's different mechanisms. We have environmental impact and we have healing capability to be analyzed. So we did a experimental procedure, a huge experimental procedure, and we were analyzing the semen consumption, for example, and it was able to promote the continuous healing with crack of 0.59 millimeters. We also evaluated superficial irregularity. It was good to form the product made because of the presence of water, continuous presence of water, and the size was 1.2 millimeters, which is really good for being above 1 millimeter. There it's usually what we have in biography. And we did the XRD analysis, and we checked that there's CaSH, CSH, and calcium carbonate. Also, the shape is okay with what were expected. With pozzolanic materials, we checked that the product was mainly formed only on the cracking perimeter, with which was the width of usually 1 millimeter. We have samples with 7.5% of silica fume and 15% of silica fume replacing cement, and we check also the crystals that are forming on the crack perimeter. And we see this almost the same materials from the other mechanism, and we have those products as layers from the same analysis. Using sodium silicate, we saw the crystal shape, and also we saw a solid material on the crack with 1.48 millimeters, which is really good. And we also have some cracks when it was not completely recovered. And here with those different shapes of healing with 0.44 and 0.42 millimeters. And also the chemical analysis that is showing like calcium carbonate and silicon oxide, and here the shapes from SEM analysis. From bacterial solutions, we have the crack completely healed with 1.67 millimeters, sorry. And we also have here inside the crack, here as continuous healing from small cracking and bigger cracking. And here inside the crack, here there's a solid material in all the continuous crack. And here there's a common occurrence that material is not only inside the crack, but also on the surface of the samples. Also, we can check those phenomena. And here we find out calcium carbonate, silicon oxide, CSH, and organic materia. When we check the medium values for crack repair, we may think that cement consumption was the best option, which is not, because there's just a few occurrences. Then that's why the medium value is bigger than in the others. We can see the good behavior from chemical and bacterial solution. And for the maximum values, we reach the values above 1.6 millimeters for bacterial solution, which is really good considering the real crack in structures. Uh, this is the data that we obtained in this research, and I will be glad to share it with you if you have interest. And to finalize, we analyze the pure condition, and we check that submerged is better than only wet for cement, pozzolanic, chemical, and biologic solutions. So maybe a condition for self-healing to occur. And I appreciate your time. Here is the social media from my university and undergraduation course, and here you have my mail. So I will be glad if you contact me asking for more details of this research. Thank you again for the invitation. I hope we all have a good event.